Alright guys, what's going on? Let's start off our Friday stream here strong. We have a lot to do. And the list actually just kind of keeps getting longer. I keep knocking stuff off the list, and then for every one that I take off, I feel like I add 2 or 3 more. But that's alright. That's the whole point. That's why I make lists for my characters, so I don't kind of lose sight of where I'm trying to progress, and becomes a lot more concrete when I work that way. So a few of the things that we want to look at today, if you guys weren't here for the last stream, we took care of quite a few things. But this time, let's see, I'm thinking I want to make the legs a little bit more thin. I made the arms more thin in our last stream. We did some cool stuff with inflation in the deformation palette with that. I want to look at my eyes, look at my mouth of the character, look at this little cloth tail we got going on here, and make that look a little bit better in terms of its larger shape. And that's probably what we're gonna do first here. And also I want to start looking at the skirt and playing with the size of some of these hard surface parts that we got going on. I got some people working on my roof today. I didn't know that they were coming today, so I apologize. They weren't supposed to come until Monday next week, but I guess they found time to come on over. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of noise in the background as they're doing stuff on the roof, and I apologize for that, but hopefully they won't be too loud. Alright, so this is the big one, the big cloth that we want to look at making some nice folds. The first thing I want to do is twist this to kind of flow and overlap in a little bit of a different way. So I have subdivision levels on this. It's going to make it a lot easier for me. So I'm just trying to get some rotate in here and see if we can actually do that. I need to twist this super hard now. It can be a little hard, a little difficult when you're working with such a low poly and you're trying not to screw too much up. When you're kind of working in Dynamesh, it's like, I can do whatever I want because it doesn't matter how dirty it is. I can always just clean it up later. But it's like, in this case, we want to be a little bit more careful. Rohit, nice to see you again as well. Welcome to the stream, man. We're looking at our cloth that we created last week, I think. Last week, or maybe on like Monday or something. Can't remember. But we kind of created this and left it there for a while to kind of ponder other things. So now we're kind of coming back to it, creating some larger scale form changes here, and attempting to also, I want to get some real good big swooping shapes, as we call them technically. Real big swooping shapes. Or some S-curves. Or just some nice looking curves in general. But like I said, technically, real big swooping shapes. Let's see. And because we're in such a neutral pose right now, it's not gonna really matter too much, but I at least want this to have some form here. And then once we get to the point where we're posing the character, we can, I think, look at it more, and I think there's probably going to be some large changes that we want to make to this once we get to that point, but at least for the time being. So just kind of turning that surface a little bit more. That looks a little bit awkward there. And like I said, we'll look at it more after we do some posing. Swatsy. I came here from the thumbnail. I think that's how a lot of people come here. Where can I get the big boob girl? The big boob girl. I don't know who the big boob girl is, but I do have a female base mesh available on my Gumroad page. If you go in the link in the description, gumroad.com/Follygon, there is a female base mesh that I have available on my Gumroad. Or you can get this, which includes my materials, brushes, and my female base mesh. Yeah, go check it out. So, we'll look more at the cloth tail later. But next, so I was saying earlier on when we started, I want to look at the face, and in particular the eyes, the mouth, and let's see here, I have the hood on my list, because we still haven't done too much with that. Some of the other hard surface parts, and a few other things as well. Lots of stuff to play with. I'm only 11. Am I allowed to download this? I don't know. Maybe you go ask your mom. Or your father, or your caretaker. Alright, so let's look at the hood and try to actually get a little bit of a hollow in there. For right now, it's not connected in a way that makes sense. We need the inner surface coming up to this point, or about there, into that line, because a hood isn't like hollow in the back to that extent. Let's try to do that. I'm going to hide some of this junk. Swatsy, are you a developer? A developer of what? A developer of 3D models? Yes. So I think just hiding the hood initially. Doing a quick duplicate on this. And Try to get that inner edge there. This probably doesn't need to be this high of a resolution. Do you make games? I do not work on games anymore, no. So let's see here. So we're gonna take that inner edge. I probably didn't put it up high enough. So I'll show you guys something here. You can use the edge loop function to do a groups loops. Mask off your outer edge. Move it forward and manually add some thickness to that geometry. Let's see here. What are you going to do with the 3D stuff you are making? This is currently for the Art War 2 competition going on. You can look at the first link down in the description to follow along with the progress of this character. Most of the stuff that I create is for toys and collectibles though. Toys, collectibles, and 3D print is what I say. Alright, so I need to get a little bit more of a hollow in the back of our hood here. Makes our feet look huge when we turn off perspective. Looks so strange from that angle. All right. So I'm just going to use my move brush and try to create a little bit of extra room here. Right now it's just super thick. I want to avoid getting this really hard crease up top though, so try to push that in and then soften that edge. Turn my head back on, kind of see what that's looking like in relation there. And then this geometry, like I said, I'm going to have to move that up. Create some changes here. What kind of 3D character are you making? This is a female character on the dark side of the competition. So the Art War 2 competition theme is light versus dark. And I'm doing something in the theme of Ruby Rose from Ruby, or Rory Mercury from Gate. Kind of like a Red Riding Hood-esque character that is cute and unassuming, and more than she appears. So cute and dangerous. That's what we're aiming for. trying to pull up here how this would naturally kind of work. How this would make any sense. Let's see. Axel, what's going on? Welcome back. Pretty sure the light one is gonna win this one, since they will put wings. I don't know if that logic really follows there, but hey, maybe. I guess we'll see. We are working on our hood. I see more people popping in here. Popping. What's with the popping? Trying to, at this point, thin out some of this and get it to a point where we have a little bit more of a hollow in the back, so it looks more like a hood. Hoods and stuffs. That's right, or wings and stuffs, according to Swatsy. I kind of want to terminate this shape a little bit earlier. You can see my crease there that I have going on, and kind of try to highlight one of these polygroups and soften that. Causes a little bit of some weird stuff going on there though. Ugandan Knuckles could win this whole art war. I was thinking about making Ugandan Knuckles. I think the meme will be dead before I can get to it though, so maybe next time. Maybe I'll make like a Ugandan Tails or a Ugandan different Sonic character. Insert DeviantArt fake Sonic character here. Shape. Quasar. Some questions. Can you make a video about deformers in ZBrush? Absolutely, I can make a video about anything in ZBrush. Will I? Maybe, if there's enough desire for it. Really, the only deformer that you need to know about down in the deformation palette, or if you're talking about the new 4R8 deformations, that's a little different. I don't know which deformers you're speaking about, though. I'm gonna leave that off for a minute. And Maxtor, what's going on? Let's see. All right. I think we've kind of lost some of our floof. I'm gonna try speaking of deformations, an inflate deformation. Yes, the new 4R8 deformers that are in the 3D Gizmo. Yeah, possibly, if that's something that a lot of people want to know about. And if I have time, absolutely. Alright, we'll go back to our low subdiv here and try to make some adjustments. Let's see. The renders you do, are they in Keyshot or a different program? The renders that I do are in occasionally Keyshot and also in ZBrush here. So something like this, something like that would be Keyshot. This is in Keyshot. These are these three are in ZBrush. I can make that bigger. Or if we pop over to Instagram. This is in ZBrush. This is in Keyshot. This is in ZBrush. This guy's in Keyshot. So, just kind of depends on what I'm doing. This is in ZBrush here. So, just kind of depends on the project, I guess. Can't really delete any subdivs from this, unfortunately. I might be able to smooth it out a little bit. I'm gonna say negatory on that one. I might Dynamesh this and work with the geometry manually a little bit later instead of worrying about having such a clean shape when I can kind of control it a little bit better, probably just by throwing it up to a higher subdiv and doing it myself. So kind of want to do that. Let's play with this hood a little bit longer here. Maxtor says, what PC do you have, or is the tablet that supports the loading of ZBrush? I built my computer. I've built every computer that I have ever owned, except for a shitty laptop that I have in my closet that's about 6 or 7 years old at this point. If you want to know about my gear, the stuff that I use, there's a link down in the description to all my hardware. It does not have the specs of my computer, though. A shitty 7-year-old laptop could probably actually do 21 million polys, as long as everything was split up into the appropriate subtools. $21 million isn't a lot. I also have 40 subtools right now, so. Alright, I want to give the hood a second. I'll come back to it later. Oh, I definitely want to look at the eyes and mouth. Like, the eyes are kind of bothering me, and I think if I add some color in there or something, we might be able to clear some things up. Plus, I want to add a few little forms around the eyelashes. It looks like it runs smoothly. It is running smoothly. Yeah, I have 64 gigs of RAM, so better run smoothly. All right. For those that don't know, ZBrush primarily runs off of your RAM. Almost exclusively runs off of your RAM. If we look here in our task manager, you can see that ZBrush is using 0% of my CPU. CPU, 0. but it's using 2.5 gigs of RAM right now. Like I said, so like a 7-year-old laptop could probably do this. But if I were to Dynamesh or do any operation like that, it would activate my CPU. So Dynamesh, ZRemesher, and a few other operations, I think transpose master maybe, a few operations work your CPU, but very, very rarely. For the most part, it's all just RAM. When you probe ZBrush in a model, I don't know what that means. Has a lot of details with subdivision of 6, but the model is not good. I'm not sure, man. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with your RAM, but 16 gigabytes should be fine. 6 subdivision levels, you have to understand, doesn't mean anything. 6 subdivision levels is a non-determinate statistic. Like it doesn't affect the outcome of what you're working on, because 6 subdivision levels completely depends on what your starting point is. Every time you subdivide, it multiplies your polygon count, typically by or roughly by a count of 4 times the original value. So if you have a mesh that starts with 1,000,000 polygons and then you subdivide it 6 times, of course you're gonna see some slowdown. You'd be at an extremely high poly count. So it all depends on your starting point. And if you're starting really low with a really clean mesh, I see no reason why you couldn't get up to 6 subdivision levels. But for most, you're starting to get in the millions around 5 or 6. So depending on what your original poly count is, though, it's very determinant on that. So I would try to find out what poly count in a single subtool that your computer can handle. Axel says, do you have any suggestions how to start straight to ZBrush? I have the idea in mind of what I want to do, but I suck at drawing. Hey dude, I suck at drawing too, but that's why I put all my eggs in one basket, and that basket was called sculpting. Yeah, just remember ZBrush is the software, the sculpting is the harder part, the actual art. But what you need to do is get over that first hump as quickly as possible, and I recommend on my Gumroad just what's today, Friday? I don't know, Tuesday? When did I release this? This week, I just released How to ZBrush, an absolute beginner's guide to Supercut. This footage is on my YouTube channel for free. What this is it's a Supercut version. It gets rid of all the advertisements, all of that, and it gives you a really good place to start. It also gives you my female base mesh, it gives you all of my brushes, it gives you all of my materials, and it gives you my user interface, which you can use to follow along with the tutorial, or you can use the standard ZBrush user interface and create your own user interface as well, whichever you prefer. But that's what I recommend. The value of these 3 items here alone on my Gumroad is $9, which is why I don't charge people for the actual video content, because it's available on my YouTube. But this gives you a download of it, Supercut into one video, like I said. No Patreon plugs, none of that. So you can watch it and not have to worry about skipping around all the crap, essentially. So yeah, I really do recommend that you check that out. I think that's a great place to start, to really figure out the software and also learn some stuff about sculpting. But yeah, that's what I recommend. And I know it's helped out a lot of people, and I think it could help you as well. It's the whole reason I made it. Before I even made it, my whole intent with creating that was, when I started using ZBrush, there weren't people on YouTube streaming ZBrush all day. There weren't a ton of video tutorials out. I don't have any of my books out, but I have books recommended down in the description for people, because that's what I started learning with. All I had was a book, a laptop, and I had to learn that way. So that's how I started. And I understand the value of having a mentor and someone that can really show you all the things that you need to know and get rid of all the crap in ZBrush that just is completely outdated or not used or not useful to you, and then getting you up and running as quickly as possible. So that was the whole intent of the course, and that's kind of what it still exists as today. So definitely do check it out if that's something that you're interested in. I've never used a tablet. Work with a mouse. They say it's easier with a tablet, but for me, it must be more difficult. If you actually want to sculpt in ZBrush, I would say that a tablet is, any kind of pressure-sensitive tablet is a must-have. It is a necessity, I would say. To actually be able to sculpt in ZBrush with a mouse, I would say the actual act of sculpting is going to be extremely difficult for you with just a mouse. And I would really not recommend attempting it, because I think you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna have a lot of problems that you could easily avoid by spending $50 on getting a cheap bamboo tablet and then using that. And really, you know, if you're struggling to get used to it, I would say just take a week. Go through that How to ZBrush course. Try to use the tablet as much as you can. Don't even touch your mouse. Use only the pen and tablet, and see what you can do. It's all a matter of just, you know, practicing, repetition, and getting used to it. I've also seen ZBrush books in Japanese, but I'm guessing that you don't speak Japanese either. Yeah, man, I can definitely sympathize with that. I know that the language barrier can be very tough. But yeah, I wish you all the best. Check out, I don't know if you've watched any of my tutorials before. You've been on the stream more than a few times, so I know you've been here before, but if you haven't seen any of my tutorials, maybe watch some of those, and I just released, it sounds like maybe you're starting from zero, so I think they might be, even without the language barrier, a little hard for you to follow, since a lot of them aren't, you know, starting from zero. So maybe check out some of those how-to ZBrush videos and see if that's something that you can follow, and if that's something that you're interested in, keep going with them, man. For those people just popping in here, I have people working on my roof today. I didn't know they were coming, they didn't tell me. And they're out there right now making some ruckus, so I apologize for all the noise going on. I really need to turn this shape a lot better. I want these to point up more. Getting some lag here, so I'm gonna turn some stuff off that I don't need. Loud. I want to try to merge these. So I was just trying to get the form to turn a little bit there, be a little bit more convex, so that when I remesh this, it will conform to that a little bit better. I'm gonna try doing this without the poly group and see what ZRemesher does. You can see there, doesn't do a great job, so let's get a little bit better cut. See, it's trying to get a cut in there. It ends up making it a little concave. Turn our music down. Let's try 1K first, real quick, just to make sure we're good. Then we'll drop it back down. Ooh, you know what? Ah, we're still getting the weird. Oh, come on. Oh, I guess it would have created a star there. Can I do this differently? Yeah, I'll get a 5. Oh no, this is a quad. But I get a star there, which causes pinching. But the edge flow, oh, I got 2 stars right next to each other. Might be able to delete that edge loop now, though. Delete a few edge loops here. Just trying to make that a little bit more clean. Trying to find a resolution. Why can't I delete that edge loop? Oh, that's a messy one. Alright, let's try this, now that we've kind of cleaned that up a little bit. I'm just going through here manually and deleting some edge loops so that I can have a little bit of a cleaner tube shape. It's really hard to click on an exact little line here with my mouse. Another reason why pens are great, accuracy. Can I delete you? Yes, I can. I'm just trying to do a few light taps with my smooth brush just to try to thin some of this out. Kind of very, very carefully, as smooth brush is extremely destructive of form. So just trying to get this to conform to the shape of the head. I have this giant sphere in here. And I don't know if I'll use this actual geometry here, but what I want to do is try to scale it up from this vertice here, because I can snap to it with my transpose tool. And try to get it to fit within this shape a little bit better, which now it is. And it's okay if it's poking out the side of the head. I just want to make sure that this fits in here first. The more important thing. That's poking out the bottom. Let's go here. Almost poking out there, but we'll leave it for now. So I might make this even larger. Definitely closer. Alright, let's try to conform the shape of the head here a little bit better to the eye. This is all the stuff that I wanted to look at doing. So I have this Dynamask right now, the main shape of the head. And I'm thinking that we want to kind of play around here a little bit. Try to come up with something a little bit closer to what we're looking for. I'm gonna just try to add a little bit of form up top to the brow. This is Dynamask though, so like I said, it's gonna be a little bit tough to get it nice and clean like we like. Like we like. want to try to get more of a brow shape. At least try, right? It's the important thing. Experiment, see what works. Currently I'm trying to just get the blocked out shape of a brow in here enough to the point where I can get the surface to turn like this. And then work it a little bit more, and then blend it back in. If you guys were around for the part where I was working on the legs earlier, and you saw me do the exact same technique there. getting a little bit better here. Took some working. Definitely closer. That's what we're looking for. Now just a matter of cleanup. I want to surface to turn a little bit up around this brow if I can. Not a lot, just enough to get a concave transition between these two areas. Alright, try to zero mesh this and make it not look like a caveman. And fix the brow. All just to get a little bit of a transition. Between our upper part of our lid and the lower. Alright, much better. Much more clean, and I just wanted to really try to emphasize this form change to make it look less flat, more like she has an actual brow. Even if it's slight like what we have here, I think it adds a lot of depth to this shape of the face that wasn't there previously. We can step back and look at the older version so we can compare here in just a sec. Actually, alright, let's load up. And we can kind of see some of the differences here. So a little bit of cleanup to the forehead. Trying to, again, change that form in the brow so we can see some of those changes happening there. I also did some adjustments to make the eye fit in the skull a little bit better. But overall, I think that's a much better direction that we've headed there with our eyes. Delete all there. Still got this. And I'm just gonna do a preemptive save here for so if you guys were here for the last stream, then you saw us work on the hair. Kind of adjusted some of the shape of the head, so it might need to be blended in a little bit better just to turn some of the forms a little bit earlier. Just a little bit. I think it's fine for the most part. I don't want to get back into messing with the hair right this second. It's going to take a long time to take it to the next level, but I'm going to wait on that. But let's see here. Oh no, stream health red. Stream health bad. Looks like OBS is fine though. Alright. So eyes. Eyes, we can check eyes off of our list for improving them. I might not have got some of this exactly where we wanted, but we can come back to them later. Also, I want to move these a little bit closer together. Kind of just play with the placement of these. Just a tiny bit here. And all without painting the actual eyes, which is something we wanted to do as well. I don't know if I should worry about poly paint quite yet, though. I might give that another few passes before we get into that too much. I don't want it to distract us from our actual sculptural work. That's not good. I'm not actually sure what this is supposed to be conceptually. Alright, let's see here. Let's check out our list. And let's do a quick... There was something I noticed earlier on my lips while I was working, so... Just this, I think, shape here. Thank God we saved, but looks like we're getting a quick save either way. That's, it annoys the crap out of me. It happens more in 4R8P2 than it did in previous versions, but you'll be working on a subtool, everything's fine, and then you alt-click and switch to another subtool, and as soon as you touch your pen to the surface, it crashes. I don't know if it has something to do with the speed in which you attempt to do that operation or what, but it happens to me quite often anymore. So this is our recovered subtool, so this should be exactly where we crashed at, which is preferable. Alright, so just a little crease here on the nose, I think. Just want to emphasize some areas. Just a little bit. But yeah, our lips, the form of our lips is kind of softened at this point, and that's fine, but the thing that I was going to show you guys was, I think, this form here. Maybe a little bit too hard. You can see the concave surfaces that we're getting there. And I think it's... we do want to represent this form in that way, in that regard for our chin, but this soft turn is a little much. If I can build up the shape of the chin, I think we're going to be a little bit better off. Just a little bit here. So building up more towards this side and then slowly trying to blend it. roofers are going crazy up there right now. But I have a feeling that they will be done today. Hopefully. So a little bit of softening there. And then up through here just a little bit as well. Just trying to blend that. If anything, I would want that concave surface to go down immediately. Gosh dang it. Come on. Oh, now you want to be strong. Wasn't stroking very strong earlier. So if anything, try to pull that concavity that direction. Which can be a little tough to do. Essentially the idea is to get that tuck in on the lower lip side and the inflate on the upper lip on the outer side. Not sure why my brush is still so hard on the alpha. There we go. That's another glitch that has been popping up recently. My focal shift isn't working all the time when I lower it. So there's the surface turn that I was looking for here, that triangle shape. A little bit of that, and then a little bit of build up top. I think I just need to make our separation here a little bit stronger between our lips. What I like to do is split the lower jaw from the upper jaw and create a mouth bag, and then it allows you to be able to open and close the lips whenever you want, and you get a really nice separation between those 2 points. And I'm not sure if I want to do that now. I don't think it'll take too long. Let me see how we're doing on time real quick. Alright. We got about 20-ish minutes here before I gotta head out, so let's try it. I think we can get it done in that amount of time. Alright. We've come a long way though. Got a lot of stuff here to look at. Come a long way, got a lot more to do. So, splitting the upper and lower jaw to create a mouth bag. Whoa. Make a quick selection here. my Dynamesh. I'm gonna do this, I think. Alright, so split hidden. I have two separate subtools now. Dynamesh each one individually. And I'm gonna move that up in. And actually, let's try this. This isn't something I've done in a while. I'm gonna try groups looping. Edge loop group loops here to this piece to make that selection a little bit more clean. It's not something I would normally do for this because I normally just soften the transition, but it'll be a little bit more clean. And then we can begin creating our mouth bag. And you can see that that gets pulled out there. That's not a big deal. We'll just re-merge that and pull it in with our move back face masking. Same thing here, Dynamesh to close holes, and mask one side, pull in. Do a quick scale. This will also help with getting the roundness of the lips, which I think can be pretty tough to capture when you're attempting to sculpt on something that's kind of merged together. But with this, we should be able to get that a lot easier. But some of that pooling, that jagged edge stuff that we get can destroy a little bit of our form, so we just gotta be careful and pinch where we need to, trim where we need to, and tell the form where to go. A lot of the time fighting it. So I want this to only connect at the corners of the mouth, open up the mouth enough that when I Dynamesh, it's not going to merge together, and then from there be able to create a mouth bag once I merge these. I'm just cutting this away so that I can get an idea of what shape my mouth bag is beginning to take. And I just want to make sure that that's not going to go down there and cause any issues. Doesn't need to be super deep, it doesn't need to be realistic, it just needs to be a little bit of a hole so that I can put some teeth and some other stuff in there. Teeth and tongue. I don't know if I'm going to do a tongue though. Depends on my expression that I do, I guess. Need to fix the shape of my lower lip, and then we can merge these back together. And fix a few things up here too. Anubis, what's going on? We're working on our lips right now and creating a mouth bag. We're almost finished here. Just trying to get the shape of the lower lip correct. Flatten this out so I can create a little bit of a crease in the middle, and then mirror and weld. Never get used to home. What? What does that mean? Whoops. closer. Alright, let's attempt get a Dynamesh in here. And I'm just going to make sure that this stuff is touching where it needs to be so that we don't get any extra mouth bags that we don't want. So quick Dynamesh, and we can look at the shape of our mouth bag here, see how it turned out. I think that's pretty good. I'll make some adjustments to it though. So now our mouth is open and we can actually, you know, put some teeth in there, do all sorts of stuff. Mainly make the lips look like they're pursed together. If we want to do that, that's a really good way to get that effect without having the geometry Dynamesh or merge together. That's what I want to avoid. The one thing that's kind of tough here is that once we Z-remesh this, we can get some really weird projection stuff happening in the corner of our lips. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. It can be really tough sometimes though. I'm going to try to just open this up a little bit more so we don't get any projection bleed from the upper to lower lip. I also want to polygroup this, I think. We'll try that. Art war, that's right, that's right. It is war, and we are fighting to win. Run the race to win, or you never will. I might want to do some more poly grouping here to make ZRemesher conform to what we want a little bit better. The nose actually did a decent job though. The eyes are what I want to adjust a little bit here. Or the cavity of the eye, I should say. Really, this is just to make ZRemesher play a little bit nicer. If I can get an edge loop around my eye, that would be nice. Poly grouping that piece. Hopefully get an edge loop there. And while we're here, we might as well do a few more. Now I'm not animating this, so I don't need to worry too much here, but I do want at least, you know, some decent topology flow, which is why we're taking the time to clean this up a tad. Katie says roof bangs, yay. Yep, they're going crazy up there. I didn't know they were coming today, so. Let's see. I guess let's do one additional loop. We'll do one more loop around the eye, just to kind of try to get a few more edge loops in there, try to get that to flow better. So here we're trying to get that to get the Z-remesher to split that and get a really nice crease in there, and then we're hoping that when we project we can, if we do get some bleed, which we most likely will, we can kind of clean some of that up. I'll try to get one more, or I guess two more here, once that splits. I also want to maybe bring this down. All right. Might be a good time to merge our ears down as well now that I think about it. So we might do that too. And hopefully not screw up our polygroups too much. We're gonna redo this. So let's polygroup that whole thing, and I'll redo the split. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do that. Immortal, hey. I've never asked you, but what's it like being immortal? Probably pretty fun, you know, run in front of cars, jump off cliffs. Sounds like a good time. Might have to redo some of that. Doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm probably doing more than I need, in all honesty, already. I just want to help the topology kind of know where to go a little bit better for ZRemesher. But like I said, I doubt we're going to need most of this. Don't want any floating polygroups because they will screw everything up and make us not very happy. So, gotta be careful when you're working this way. It's like anything like these little polys in here will screw everything up. Try to select those a little bit better. And where are our ears? Alright, let's try to merge our ears down. And delete that extra, make sure that's not the right one, okay. Didn't want to delete all that work we just did, that would have sucked. Down on the ears, get a Dynamesh in at 4K. This is a pretty small tool. You can see our size up here, so Dynamesh has to be pretty high. We're working it within the overall 2-unit maximum, 2-unit best case that ZBrush works at. A little bit of blending here, just real quick. And I have a polygroup in here already, since that was a separate piece of geometry. Got a little weird polygroup from where it was deeper in there and then the head poked through before I Dynameshed it, so we will grab that guy. Make sure that's new. That's probably fine. And still got all our other polygroups here. We can turn off line. It makes it a little bit easier to see our flow of what we got going on. I think the only other one I want to add is maybe just like a jawline kind of loop that goes up to the forehead and just kind of follows that basic curve. Nothing crazy. Do not want to polygroup that stuff though. Oh, we got the ears there too. Let's just do this. All right. I think that's gonna do it. So hopefully with that, between the lips, we can get a little bit of a better crease there on the remesh and try to get some of this to follow that form a little bit better. So quick save, and then I'm just going to duplicate so we can project back up, but of course Z-remesh, keep groups is on, and we'll Z-remesh this. See how it does. We'll probably need to make some changes to some parts. There's typically, you know, in your first shot when you do something like this, there's some weird poly groups that need to be put in their place, so to say. So one of the main ones I wanted around the eyes there. Getting a weird interaction with the corner of the eyelid. I might split this intersection into 2 poly groups, and that might help that corner. The corners of our mouth, didn't do too great of a job. We got some weird stretching going on there. But overall, most of the loops went where we wanted. Just to help our topology flow a little bit better here. Let's try our inner eye here and our mouth bag. And let's try to split these to see if it helps with the corner of the eye and the corner of our lips. Just a quick split. And then down here, a pretty bad shape already. Alright, let's try that. Might even change the Z-remesh count just to see if we can get some slightly different results. We're getting some weird pinching there in the nose. This is fine, 'cause this can be cleaned up with just some, ooh, no. Definitely a weird quad there that's happening. We've got a better split going on with the lips, but that poly group is kind of pulled forward. Really, I think that's probably as best as we're gonna get, but I want to try doing a slightly different count here, just to see if we can lower it and maybe see what happens. I want to try after this lowering it to 1 and then increasing it up to like 10-ish, 15 maybe, just to see if we can get the poly loops to, ooh, so getting that triangle. Weird pinch in the nose, so we got a star on the tip. Alright, let's try 1 real quick here. Why don't you manually retopo? So, what's the purpose of retopology? The purpose of retopology is so that you can animate or deform the geometry in a specific way. So animation, deformation, and to save on topology count, to save on your polygon count. Those are the 3 reasons why you would re-topologize. I'm not animating this character. I can get good enough deformations out of an automatic Z-remesh piece, even without doing the polygroups, and poly count doesn't matter. So those are the reasons why I don't need to do manual retopology. Especially, I'm not going to put in extra work to something that's going to take a lot of time that gives 0 benefit to what I'm doing, or I would say very little benefit. Let's just do 15. 5 is totally fine, the result that we got from 5, but I just want to get this closer. Plus, if I was going to manually retopo this, I would have to blend the neck and get that in there and a few other things. So we want to focus on our sculptural forms here and not take the time to do that. So higher poly count, of course we're getting cleaner forms. We're still wanting to get that pinch in the front of our cheek though. But I have a feeling that just a normalized smooth will get rid of that and blend that quad better, fix those quads. So it's actually wanting to put more quads in there when we do that. So we'll probably keep it lower, probably around like 5 to 10. One thing I do want to do real quick though, now that I mentioned the neck, is I want to get a quick blend of just a piece of the neck into the head. Make sure that none of our polygroups there interfere. They do not. So we'll merge down and Dynamesh. And thankfully, Dynamesh retains our polygroups for us, which is great. And just a little bit of smooth here. And I'll be able to blend that even easier once we retopo with ZBrush. Let's see. I wasn't even planning on doing some ZBrush guides for this, but I think it'll help. Just keep the shape a little bit better. Our mouth as well, which we looked at, created the mouth bag. So you can check that off. And see what we got. Closer. Starting to clean up those forms the more I ZBrush there. We've lost some of our larger forms though that we maybe wanted to keep. We do have some nicer loops from that. Let's see if we can project that and see if it actually reaches that distance, because it kind of shrinks in size whenever you use ZBrush. So it got our nostrils in there, which is good. We're getting a lot of bleed on our ears here. Probably the corner of our mouth, which is the area that I'm most scared of it happening. Let's check what we got. Looks like just a single vert is poking out. Or a few there. Just try to soften that a little bit, and let's see what's going on in our ears. A lot of garbage. So just from these tight areas where it's pinching in, get a lot of problem areas. Just try to clean that up before I project further so it doesn't get worse. And you can mess with your projection distance settings to try to get a little bit of a better result when you're doing stuff like this for projection. But at the end of the day, I find that in tight pieces, tight cornered areas, I end up getting some projection bleed no matter what I do. So it's a battle between, you know, actually getting the shape of the thing you want, which your projection distance has to be enough to reach that point, or you end up getting some weird little things like I got here, which can be cleaned up, you know, re-sculpted if need be. Looks like a few more here. I don't know where that one's coming from. I'm just trying to tackle those areas real quick here. Subdivide up one more time. Let's try another projection. Ooh, that looks nasty in there. You can see it from the inside. Or from the outside, I mean. Yeesh. So I don't think we need another projection after this. I think most of the form got captured. So alternate smooth is great for tight areas a lot of the time, just to help normalize that surface area. And I think the corner of our lips actually survived that whole thing, that whole ordeal. Just a little bit. Aw, that's a bad one. That's not what we want. So no, didn't completely survive, but got pretty close. It's the inner mouth bag there. We don't need to worry about that form too much. Pretty good though for some ZBrush topology. So there's our original and there's our projected piece. So you can see a little bit of a difference there in the ear. I'm not too worried about it though. Turn everything back on. We can blend the neck a little bit better as well. But yes, now we have, like I said, some decent topology that we can use to kind of guide what we're working on here. There's some weird little problem areas, but you know, nothing to write home about. So if I'm trying to get some really, you know, I wouldn't say really good results, but if I'm trying to get some decent results with ZRemesher, that's typically how I do it. Try to blend that for the neck a little bit better. We got a nice loop around our jaw just to kind of help retain that form. A lot of good stuff here. And that only took to actually do the retopo there with the poly groups. It probably took like 15-ish minutes, if that. Got a decent one around the eye here, so it also makes it easier for just selecting certain areas if you want to make changes. But for the most part, I think we're good here. We've opened up our mouth, so that was our main goal with all that jazz. To open up our mouth, get a nice mouth bag here, and be able to add some teeth. Whatever else we need, such as closing the mouth and having that really nice pursed look of the lips. Can be very a very nice look, as opposed to just dynameshing it together like we did previously. That's how I had it started though, which is fine. But just having it like actually have the geometry, you know, not merged together there, it's a lot nicer, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna completely put them together right now. I don't need to. Plus, I want to be able to, like I said, put some teeth in there and make sure that they're visible, looking good, and all that jazz. Maybe move the corners of the mouth back just a hair. But yes, I think our face is looking a lot better for it. Especially the changes that we made to the eyes earlier in the stream. I think it's getting there. Definitely getting there. And what do we have here? Part of our hood. I said we'll wait to add the secondary forms to our hood, because I'm not ready to do that. We'll wait to mess with this more probably until we get into posing, which isn't going to be for a while. Painting is another thing that I want to get into, especially with the eyes. I think it helps the character come together a lot more, and it also helps with just seeing the forms of the face quite a bit once you start getting, you know, your pupil, iris, all that stuff in there. So we'll look at that here soon. Okay, I can actually write it down, add it to our list of ever-growing things that we need to look at. But I said hood, thinning the legs was another one. So eye paint, maybe just some painting in general. So legs, there's a part that I'm going to add onto the head later that I'm not completely, I haven't completely figured it out yet. But yeah, we got a lot done this stream, a lot of good stuff, and hopefully more in the next stream as well. I don't know if you guys saw what I did for this shape back here, but I had fun working on this little roly-poly. We can add some asymmetry to that later. But, you know, we're still in neutral pose, haven't even got into posing. And all that's down the road as well. We got a lot of work to do. We've come a long way. And I'm happy with, you know, where we are and where we're going. So that's a good place to be. But still, of course, lots and lots of changes. But thank you guys for coming in and hanging out on the stream, even those that are popping in here at the end. Sorry, heading out. But they all get uploaded on my YouTube channel for sure, so if you miss anything, don't feel too bad. Let's see, what else we got? yesterday was Thursday. That means a new episode of Art Anonymous went up. So go check that out if that's something that you're interested in. It's a podcast that, I don't have it pulled up. It's a podcast that myself and my friend who is a traditional sculptor do. And we're just kind of experimenting with it, playing around. Last episode was the 5th episode. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please do go check it out. Art Anonymous, it's on my YouTube channel. You can just type in Art Anonymous into YouTube and you should find it. Or Art Anonymous Follygon or whatever you need to do. But yeah, I think that's all, guys. So no night stream tonight. I have to go pick up my girlfriend from the airport. She's coming back from Germany. So yeah, no night stream tonight. Maybe a stream tomorrow on Saturday, since we haven't done a Saturday stream in a while. So RIP. That's right. Sorry, Ben, coming in here at the last second. So if you don't follow me on Twitter or on YouTube here, subscribe so that you can be notified of future streams. And I hope to see you guys in a future stream. All 9 of you watching on YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else. Picarto, I believe, is the other one. But, yep. All right, guys. You guys have a great day or night, whatever you got going on. Enjoy your ZBrushing. Hope to see some of you guys participating in Art War. There's still, I think, roughly 40-ish days left to work on it, so it's not too late to jump in and get to work and join in the community and learn from everybody else. So that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of the Art War. It's a community building exercise. So again, hope to see you guys in the next stream. Have a great day, and thanks again for stopping in. Later.